The potential vitamin D dangers you need to know before consuming the supplement. Number one is the consideration to hypercalcemia, which is excessive calcium in the blood. So the mechanism of vitamin D-induced hypercalcemia is that vitamin D significantly enhances the intestinal absorption of calcium. And when vitamin D is consumed in excessive amounts, this process becomes overly efficient, leading to an abnormal increase in blood calcium levels. This is particularly concerning because the body's regulatory mechanisms, which usually maintain calcium levels within a narrow range, can be overwhelmed by the high levels of vitamin D, leading to persistent hypercalcemia. Besides increasing gut absorption, vitamin D plays a critical role in mobilizing calcium from bone tissues. Let me back up. Vitamin D is a fat-soluble vitamin. So unlike water-soluble vitamins, if you consume too much, it will stay in the body. In situations of vitamin D overdosing or too much vitamin D, this leads to an excessive release of calcium from our bones into the bloodstream, further contributing to the elevated calcium levels. This bone-derived calcium adds to the burden already placed on the body by the increased intestinal absorption. Our kidneys are key organs in filtering and excreting excess minerals from the blood. When blood calcium levels rise due to excessive vitamin D intake, the kidneys face increased pressure to filter this excess calcium. This has the potential to lead to calcium crystallization and kidney stone formation. If you've ever had a kidney stone, I've been told by patients it is more painful than labor. And when I was an ER nurse many years ago, we could pick our kidney stone patients out of a crowd easily. Additionally, persistent high calcium levels can cause damage to the kidney tissues, potentially leading to long-term renal health issues. If we have too much vitamin D intake, it can actually interfere with a feedback mechanism. The body's natural feedback system involves the parathyroid hormone and vitamin D, and it helps to maintain calcium homeostasis, which is a fancy word for balance. Excessive vitamin D intake can disrupt this balance, leading to a sustained increase in blood calcium levels. This disruption can have a cascading effect, impairing the regulation of other minerals and hormones, which in turn can affect various bodily functions. In this study, looking at vitamin D-mediated hypercalcemia, high calcium, mechanisms, diagnosis, and treatment, this is a review published in the Endocrine Reviews and emphasized the link between high vitamin D intake and hypercalcemia. It explains how excessive vitamin D leads to increased calcium absorption and bone mobilization, elevating blood calcium levels. Now, when we're in perimenopause and menopause, we do not want to mobilize calcium out of our bones. We want to make sure that we are being mindful of bone health. And this review details the biochemical processes, including the formation of supraphysiologic 25-hydroxyvitamin D, contributing to this condition. It also discusses how certain diseases exacerbate hypercalcemia through ectopic enzyme activity, illustrating the complex nature of vitamin D-related hypercalcemia. Excessive vitamin D elevates calcium levels in the blood, which the kidneys must filter. High concentrations of calcium can precipitate and form crystals, leading to kidney stones, and these stones can cause significant damage as they pass through the urinary tract, potentially leading to infections or blockages. Our kidneys' primary function is to filter waste from the blood, and high levels of vitamin D increase the workload on the kidneys due to the need to filter out the excess calcium. Over time, this added strain can lead to kidney stress and damage, potentially affecting their ability to function efficiently. We also know that chronic exposure to high levels of vitamin D can lead to long-term alterations in kidney function. This can manifest as changes in the ability to concentrate urine, regulate electrolytes like potassium, sodium, chloride, etc., and filter waste products, all of which are crucial for maintaining overall health. There can also be concern for a risk of nephrocalcinosis, which is characterized by the deposition of calcium in the renal tissues, and this is a potential consequence of prolonged high vitamin D intake. This condition can lead to decreased kidney function and may be associated with the development of chronic kidney disease. In this study looking at vitamin D and acute kidney injury, a two-way causality relation and a predictive, prognostic, and therapeutic role of vitamin D. This is a study published in Frontiers in Nutrition in March of 2021 and establishes a clear link between high doses of vitamin D and kidney damage. It highlights how vitamin D toxicity leads to kidney injury through mechanisms such as hypercalcemia and hypercalciuria, which in turn can cause nephrogenic diabetes insipidus, which in turn affects water homeostasis and can lead to acute kidney injury. Additionally, we can be at increased risk of cardiovascular disease as calcium deposition in blood vessels and vitamin D in very high amounts can lead to hypercalcemia, which in turn contributes to the deposition of calcium in the arterial walls. This calcification of blood vessels may be a significant risk factor for atherosclerosis, a condition characterized by the hardening and narrowing of arteries. It also really speaks to inflammation and oxidative stress that has the potential to impair blood flow and increase the risk of not only heart attacks, but potentially strokes. Vitamin D influences calcium metabolism, and an excess of it can result in increased calcium levels in the blood. This can lead to vascular calcification and stiffening of the blood vessels, contributing to elevated blood pressure, a key risk factor for cardiovascular diseases, including heart failure and stroke. We know that high blood pressure plays a role in elevated insulin, but this is another layer of concern. A stiff heart is going to make it harder to get blood pumped out of the left ventricle. Excess calcium resulting from high vitamin D levels can negatively impact the elasticity and function of blood vessels. The loss of vascular compliance is a critical factor in the development of hypertension or high blood pressure and other cardiovascular conditions. Additionally, calcium can influence the contractility of cardiac and smooth muscle in the vessels. Calcium can influence the contractility of the myocardium, which is the heart muscle, as well as smooth muscles in the endothelium, which are lining of our blood vessels, further contributing to potential cardiovascular risk. We also know that excessive vitamin D can lead to an imbalance in calcium levels in the body, a critical factor in cardiac conduction. Elevated calcium levels can interfere with the electrical impulses that govern heartbeats, potentially leading to arrhythmias. These irregular heart rhythms can be life-threatening if not properly managed. Now, I want to be really clear, most of what I see is low vitamin D, so this is a very small subset of the population that would actually be at a point where they are super therapeutic or high vitamin D level. High levels of vitamin D can lead to excessive calcium accumulation in the cardiac muscle. This excess calcium can cause the heart muscle to contract more forcefully and less efficiently, increasing the workload on the heart. Over time, this can lead to hypertrophy of the heart muscle and contribute to heart failure. In this study looking at vitamin D and cardiovascular health, a review published in Clinical Nutrition in 2021, it provides evidence linking high vitamin D doses to increase cardiovascular disease risk. It helps detail the complex interplay between vitamin D levels and cardiovascular functions, emphasizing the role of vitamin D in regulating blood pressure, endothelial function, which is the lining of the blood vessels, and heart muscle activity. The review suggests that while vitamin D plays a role in cardiovascular health, excessive levels can disrupt these mechanisms, potentially leading to conditions like hypertension, endothelial dysfunction, and cardiovascular complications. I'm interrupting this video because I would love for you to grab my intermittent fasting quick start guide. You can click the link below and grab it now. Next are digestive issues. High doses of vitamin D can irritate the lining of the stomach and intestines, leading to gastrointestinal disturbances. This can manifest as symptoms such as nausea, vomiting, and abdominal pain, which are indicators of the body's adverse reaction to excessive vitamin D. Excessive vitamin D intake can disrupt the normal function of the gastrointestinal tract, leading to altered motility. This may manifest as either constipation or diarrhea, reflecting the imbalance in the digestive system caused by high vitamin D levels. The liver also plays a crucial role in metabolizing vitamin D, and excessive intake of vitamin D places a significant strain on the liver, potentially leading to liver dysfunction or damage. This can manifest as elevated liver enzymes and, in severe cases, hepatic failure. High levels of vitamin D can also interfere with the absorption and metabolism of other essential nutrients in the digestive tract. This can lead to imbalances in nutrients such as magnesium and phosphorus, which are vital for various bodily functions, including bone health and energy production. In this study on vitamin D, the gut microbiome, and inflammatory bowel disease, this is a review published in the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences from 2018 that explores the connection between high doses of vitamin D and digestive issues. It highlights vitamin D's role as an immune regulator affecting gastrointestinal inflammation and the gut microbiome. The review provides evidence that vitamin D can regulate the gut's inflammatory processes, with epidemiological studies showing lower incidence of inflammatory bowel diseases, like Crohn's disease, in individuals with higher serum vitamin D levels. Furthermore, it discusses vitamin D's impact on the transcription of genes affecting the gut microbiome and its potential therapeutic role in managing irritable bowel disease. Stay tuned for my next video talking about 5 ways to help heal cataracts naturally.